Now, Joe Biden is the ultimate no change candidate. That's not me saying it. That's Joe Biden saying it. Now, this is what he said to donors at a fundraising trip in New York. Um, he said, quote, "Remember, I got in trouble with some of the people on my team on the Democratic side because I said, what I found is rich people are just as patriotic as poor people. Not a joke. I mean, we may not want to demonize anybody who's made money." He also said, The truth of the matter is, you all know in your gut what has to be done. We can disagree in the margins, but the truth of the matter is it's all within our wheelhouse and nobody has to be punished. No one's standard of living will change. Nothing will fundamentally change. Now, he was addressing about 100 of the New York's financial elite. Now, this includes bankers Robert Rubin and Roger Altman, both of whom worked in the Treasury Department under Democratic administrations. He said, look, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. In fact, I'm your friend. Now, let me go into some of his statements, kind of dissect it. First, when he said, look, rich people are just as patriotic as poor people. You guys remember that, right? Well, it's kind of not really an issue of patriotism. It's more of an issue of fairness, right? Rich people make more money and therefore should pay more. Now, if you look at maybe this from a perspective of, hey, it's maybe your patriotic duty to pay the taxes that you owe and to make sure that you pay fair taxes. Well, then, you could say that a lot of the corporations right now and a lot of members of the top 1% are not being as patriotic as people who are in the middle class who end up paying actually more of a share of the taxes than the wealthy in corporations. You could say that because, like I said, the share of corporations and wealthy people paying taxes has actually dropped quite a bit. Now, they still pay more overall, but their share of the pie is getting less and less and less, while the middle class ends up paying actually much more. So, look, his statements to these bankers is basically, don't worry. We might raise taxes on you just a tiny little bit, but we're not going to, you're not really going to feel it all that much, and it's not really going to be fundamental change. I mean, we have to do it, but it's not going to really hurt you all that much. So, no transformational change. I mean, and there you have it. That's Joe Biden, right? If you want no change, Biden is your guy. Now, if you want to return to the conditions that created Donald Trump, Biden's your guy. Now, this is I don't quite remember who actually talked about this. Was it might have been Buttigieg, might have been Beto, talking about what they would do for the tax code if they actually won the presidency. And this is sort of true, I think, of a lot of centrist Democrats, that they would not go back to 35%. That they actually more talked about, yes, raising taxes a little bit, but somewhere like maybe to 25%. The tax rate is at 21% for corporations right now. That's because Donald Trump gave $1.5 trillion in tax cuts to corporations and the rich. Lowered it from 35 to 21. And here's Democrats saying, well, you know what? We like compromise. We like going in the middle. We still want to raise taxes just a little bit, but we're going to raise them to maybe 25%. You're barely going to feel it. Now, I wonder if that's going to enough to make some of these wealthy people, especially GOP donors, more interested in their campaign. Oh, right, it's not. News came out that Biden had attempted to enlist a GOP donor, a longtime Republican donor, to give to his campaign. And of course, that donor had refused, saying, I like Joe Biden. I like where he's going. I like his middle of the road approach, but I'm for Donald Trump. That's Joe Biden for you, right? And so he promised his potential donors that nothing is going to change at all. No fundamental change, no transformational change. No increase of, for example, worker representation, like in unions, right? No Medicare for all, no wealth tax to fund, free college. Nothing like that. Just status quo. No change. Knowing that, does anybody out there not understand why progressives have zero interest in voting for Biden? Because this is what he stands for. He stands for nothing. No change. Now, for me, when somebody shows you who they are, you tend to believe them, right? Well, this is who Joe Biden is. He's no progressive. He is a status quo candidate and will bring no change. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.